Okay. So what do we do about this?
That's the
That's the
problem.
million-dollar question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're out of info pretty much. We're
What
out of
we got
leads.
we got a lot of info, and what I've gleaned from this is most likely it is not a disguise, but it is definitely a possession, or like
A
sort of like two in
ruse.
one one bo-
Just kidding.
so it's we can at least maybe rule out the whole, like, the magic is to, like, make her look different. It looks like it is actually another. There's two people, or at least two minds inhabiting one body. That's about as far as I've gotten from all of this information.
Okay.
If
Um,
you want me to clarify anything, let me know. Because I know I've thrown a lot of stuff out to you, right? But I mean, I can't just connect the dots for you. That's not fun, right? I gotta
yeah.
just give you the information that you ask
Right.
about.
Well, I shouldn't belittle all the other information. It's just
Mhm.
all the other ones kind of have.
You don't seem
Um,
to lead anywhere conclusive.
yeah.
Yeah, I
They,
understand.
So here's my dilemma. Do I think that she is harming the queen? If I had to say right now, no, I don't think it's likely. However, am I confident enough of that to just let the matter lie? Nowhere near close enough. I mean, there's, like I said, there's the facts that magic was cast in that house, and either she knows about it and lied about it. And again, if she doesn't need magic to hide her appearance, what does she need the magic for? And or someone's casting magic in that house against her knowledge, which is even worse. So either way, there's something here that is a very could potentially be a very big problem. I don't think she is at the cause or the heart or some evil monster, and therefore I don't think that the right force action would be to walk away. Because if we just walk away from this, what's Gyro going to do? Is he going to care?
I'm. If you want an answer to that,
Yeah.
my best guess is, as long as she's out of his hair, I don't think he really cares that much.
That's possible.
Um, it is that is a strong possibility. Um, so we're basically at a there's an unknown lady who seems to be two people that is basically two beings in one ish. Um, at least one of them is dead, or both of them are half dead.
Yep. this, this is good. Keep going.
Um, we've also known that the creature is most likely from a bog of some kind, or at least the situation to get her into this position was in a bog. One of the two are in a bog at one point, which really doesn't say much, but it's at least a significant enough event to be noted. Um, Usually people don't like be like, here's a premonition of some dude taking out the trash.
Yep. This is true. You can use the metagame knowledge to know that I just didn't be like it means absolutely nothing. Keep going. I love it because the way you describe it makes it sound like I'm a crazy man. But I'm not. I thought about this. I spent all week thinking about this.
So, um, it either could be a a person that came from that area to this area, which could be very possible. Um, Shit. I just realized something.
Mhm.
That's okay. That's water under the bridge. There's nothing that we could do about that now.
Okay.
There was actually one piece of information that wouldn't have actually helped. Never mind.
Well, could have always retroacted a little bit if it makes sense.
um, well, it was actually specifically noted that it didn't happen.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
there you go then.
Um, so there's a creature from the bog, which I'm assuming is the thing that is directly in connection with. Um, I don't think the lady from the barn actually came from there. I'm assuming that it was probably the other thing that came from the bog to this area. Could be the lady that we're all connected to with the whole jewelry and whatnot, and just kind of, you know, attached to maybe she just found this random dead lady or killed her. I don't know. um, and just became this one person, and somehow she became the caregiver.
Yeah. So, obviously, you guys have a lot of clues and you have a lot of information, right? And you don't know exactly how to piece it together. So, just think in character, what would be your next steps? What would you guys do next? Do you need to repeat any information that I gave you?
Um, so I know that Patrick is super curious about this, but I
Yeah.
don't think that he should really. Well, okay, he's super curious, so whatever is moving forward, he does want to know more about this. If not just straight up confronting her and be like, "Look, this is what information we got. This is what we've been doing. I just want to know more about you."
Yeah, Al's kind of the
Gotcha.
same way. Maybe slightly different motivations, but arriving at the exact same point. Super curious. Not really. Here's the thing. I see all the clues. I don't see how to put them together, nor do I see a method of getting more information to put them together without confronting her. And by confronting, I mean, just talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's almost the thing that he would probably want to do. As naive as he is about like just approaching beings, he would probably just approach it and just be like, this is fascinating. um and like this might also like quell any doubt that the queen is in safe hands, or at least responsible ones, or whatever. Um, if that is the case, if it isn't, if it's going into basically the jaws of
Death.
bad things,
Mm-hmm.
um, well, if she's hostile, of course we take defensive actions. If she lying is a pretty easy thing to do. um but
There's another issue with just going up and talking to her. She's obviously in hiding. Why would she just tell you the truth? Why not just deny absolutely everything? Because it's far safer to do that.
um
Like, what motivation would she have to tell you the truth?
I know out of character I would have to definitely think about that, but in character Patrick would be like, why wouldn't she tell me?
No, Al would very much bring this up. He would be like, look, the only reason why I even suggested the idea of Gyro was simply because she's in hiding. If I were in her shoes and if someone came to me with the information we have, which is all circumstantial, my best option would be just to deny everything, call us crazy, because we can't prove any of it. Therefore, why would I risk my position by confirming any of it?
I guess we wouldn't have to gain her trust.
We absolutely would, and we haven't done a very good job of that so far. You know, there might be a way that doesn't involve threats, or coercing, or anything of the kind. Unless anyone else can think of another angle we can pursue, it's clear, or it seems to be clear, that we're not going to get conclusive answers without her telling us. And without any conclusive answers, I am not comfortable taking action against her, because as horrible as the idea is, if it's the difference between possibly letting a killer get away or possibly killing an innocent person, I'd rather the first option. I think I could sleep better at night that way.
So what are you trying to say?
My thought is, we go to Gyro, we tell him there's nothing to report, there's nothing to worry about. It was not that it was our mistake, but that under further investigation, we found the leads went nowhere and that there was not a threat or an issue. Then, we go to her, we tell her what we found, and we tell her that we already told Gyro there's nothing to worry about. And that we'll be completely truthful about it so she can see it if she chooses to. I can't think of another way of gaining her trust.
No, yeah, she's psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You can openly just if you want to have her gain trust, you can show how open we are.
It would mean putting ourselves at risk, but yes, that is very much a possibility. I don't think that we'd be at too much of a risk. Like, I'm pretty open to that idea because everything we've seen points to the fact the idea that she would just straight up mind fry us is low. At the most, we might just get mental suggestions like Nora did. In character, I think Al would say, like, from everything we know so far, I think the chance of her out and out attacking us is fairly slim. We might walk away with a headache.
And Patrick would note, no.
The worst is that we'll die.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't think she would try to kill us. She might try to manipulate us, but that's not the same thing.
Tom, you've been pretty quiet. Is it because you're muted? Oh.
Yeah, I was muted.
Oh.
I have nothing to contribute to the conversation at all.
Great.
And I honestly, I don't know what I want to do.
Okay, we have some serious pacing problems here, guys.
Yeah.
As a D, I gotta step in, right? Because we can spend another fucking hour about this. All right.
Yeah, we can.
So So let me break it down some things for you to maybe help you give you some focus. Are you open to that?
Sure.
All right. So, I see a few choices in your sights, right? You can talk with her, right? Whether it's confrontation, whether it's opening yourself up, it's whatever. You're going to talk with Mia, whatever Mia is. You're going to have a conversation with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one option, right? By the sounds of it, you guys have figured out, or have determined that all the leads that you've gotten are not conclusive enough. So there's no point in following any other leads. So that's probably out of the mix, right? Mm-hmm. One option. Another option is to just obviously forget about it. She's not evil. We got nothing to worry about. Let's just continue on with our business, right? And the other option, of course, is to talk to Gyro, right? You're either going to be talking to Gyro probably, or you're going to be talking to Mia, or you're going to forget it, right? Now, there's a lot of options in between that, right? But those are the three directions, right? So what are you guys most comfortable in doing? Just take a vote.
In character, which is the thing that I want to do most,
Yep.
is
Boom.
so it's going to be out of character as well. I would like to talk with her.
Okay.
Same
We got
here.
one vote for talking. Well, we got 2 votes for talking. Tom?
I would like to forget about it, but that's fine.
Okay, so 2-1. All right?
Yep.
So it looks like you guys are on the road to talking with her, right? So now you guys have to strategize on exactly how you want to do it, what you want to say. Now, you can you can show up without a plan and we can play it by ear, which would be interesting, right?
Mm.
Or you can show up with a plan. So what would you guys like to do? Planned or like a planned interaction or an unplanned interaction? Because I'm ready to get the next scene going, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to stimulate that to happen.
Well, I planned only in the sense that, like I said, we need to have some plan or strategy to get her to trust us enough to.
That's what
trust
I mean.
Anything she says, right? Because otherwise, there's no reason to talk to her because there's no reason for her to be honest.
Yep.
So my only 2 thoughts are A, and I guess either one kind of leads to this. Say,
Mm-hmm.
look, read our minds. Seriously, we'll let you. It's fine. And B, honestly, I think we can just start with that because I was gonna say the other one would be to go to Gyro first and tell him there's nothing wrong. But if that's our intention anyway, she would see that if she read our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What does everyone think about that?
Sure.
I think the only quote-unquote plan is to generally let's not just have this as a like Patrick and Al go by themselves to this.
Yes. Okay.
That would probably not be the best idea.
Okay.
Mainly because, well, it's usually not a good idea to be like, you two should be fine. Go and talk to the powerful psychic lady.
Yes.
Sure, nothing bad will happen.
I think everyone in your crew realizes the hazards of the situation.
Yeah.
So what do y'all want to do as a backup? Okay.
I do not feel too okay. Well, okay. If we are going to bring Pam, we don't need to like. I'm just worried that if things do go down and if a fight does break out, I do not want a player character that's being controlled through the GM to be involved.
I'm saying it right now. I'm willing to do it, just to keep things moving forward. I will take control of Pamela if necessary. God damn it!
All right. So, I think a blunt sort of thing to move forward. Myself, Burn, are you okay with coming? Like, actually, like, talking directly to her?
I do not want to talk directly to her.
Okay.
I would rather
so
be the backup in case shit happens.
myself and Al are definitely going to be talking to her.
Okay.
All the other NPCs,
Uh-huh.
not including Mick Snail,
Uh-huh.
Miss Snail, and Bad Back McGee over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Took me a second.
Oh, August. That's right. Okay.
We can have all the other NPCs as a person waiting out in a vehicle or vehicles or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
All right. Let's rock and roll. All right. So, a week or so later, after getting your information from Flint, you head back up towards Greencastle, of course, and back towards Mia's ranch. Putting the proper implications in place with Pamel, Al, and Patrick going to speak with this woman, Mila, Bear, Lee, and Tom are in very close nearby to act as backup. we'll say even that makes sense that if we don't hear from you in the next half hour or something like that, we're going to come and investigate just to make sure everyone's safe, right? Contingency plan.
Right.
With that contingency plan in place, the three of you, yes, Pamel, Al,
Patrick.
name Al and Patrick.
Spy
Once
guy.
again approaches. Oh no, man, brain cramp.
Understand.
Approaches Mia's home. Mia spots you and doesn't open the door, and she yells through it, and she says, "I hope you're here to apologize."
I think we should actually apologize.
All right. Al's like, I think we should too. Al would very quietly say, Patrick, do you want to take this, or...
Oh, yeah. I can do that. So, I have so many emotions right now.
I'll sort through them.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, voice in my head.
Yep, that's me. All right.
You Tyrant? Oh. So I give a big inhale and outhale and say, yes, I probably should apologize.
You hear her say, "I'm listening," through the door.
I'm sorry for any inconvenience that I personally have bestowed upon you. I feel regretful if any of my companions may have hurt your feelings in any way, or have jeopardized what you feel as safe.
There's a pause, and she goes, "Okay, now your friend has to apologize." Pamela says, "I didn't do anything to you."
Al's like, I think she means me. I am sorry too. Sometimes my desire to be helpful and to help others makes me forget common courtesies. You have my sincere apologies.
You hear another pause, and she says, "Okay, fine. Apology accepted."
We should probably tell her why we're here, other than the apology thing.
Al looks at Patrick and nods.
So
I love how you guys are conversing through a door because she is not opening it up.
how do I put this? Al, I'm not very good at the whole.
Would you like me to?
I'm blunt.
Okay, I understand. Al will go. Look, we don't want to alarm you. That's the last thing we want. But we know a lot more about you than most people do, and we're curious. We know that you can read our minds. We know that you are not exactly what you claim to be, but we also believe that you're a decent person. We know that you cared about, and I'm sorry, Inferno, I don't think we ever mentioned the husband's name.
No, we didn't. His name is Gary Hickman.
We know that you cared about Gary Hickman. We also know that you are, well, to be honest with you, that's part of why we're confused. We know that you are two people, but not two people. Alive, but not alive. We don't have any intention of telling anyone else. He shrugs. We're curious. We want to make sure everything's safe and okay. And honestly, we're just baffled by it all.
Roll me a D100.
All right. 29.
Mm-hmm. It is a long silence. In fact, you get to the point where you're not too sure if she's still there until you hear the door open a little bit. I mean, you hear the door. Oh my God, Inferno! Seriously, man. All right. Anyways, sorry. You hear the doorknob jostle a little bit, and you see just a little bit of a crack, and you hear her say, I am not saying you're right, because what you say sounds absolutely crazy. But how do you even know any of these things that you're saying?
Al's gonna, take a deep breath and say, obviously trust is hard to come by. So allow me to take a first step. Read my mind. You'll get your answer and you'll see my intentions.
Al, you feel as if fingers, long, strange, red tendrils wrap around your mind, and for a moment, things go blank for a few seconds. Roll up a new character. No, just kidding.
No! You said
Until
roll up, I
finally-
started going towards dice.
No. Until you, once again, those few seconds of haziness clear, and in a period, this seems to have taken quite a bit of time, but in reality, it's a period of just a second. You see Pamela kind of watch you very, very carefully, as if she's getting ready to do something if necessary. But soon the door opens completely, and Mia says, "Come in."
All right. Al would also put a hand on Pam's shoulder as in I'm okay type thing, and then follow her inside.
Okay. Patrick, you go inside?
Yeah.
She offers you a seat around the table. Do you take it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Mia sits down across from you, and she says, I was very, very, very unsure. But it's not every day someone openly invites me into their mind. You've done a lot. And if I'm to understand, you are concerned that I am this Brienne person. In order, she raises a hand, in order to prove to you I am who I say I am, I'm going to do something. I don't like doing this. It's rather uncomfortable. But since you allowed me into your mind, I suppose I can expose myself. At least a little bit. And with that, she closes her eyes, takes in a deep breath, and suddenly the air around all of you seems to thicken or get heavier, as if something a little bit more metallic is in the air. And when she opens her eyes are no longer there, and instead it's a buzz with strange little red lights. These red lights pour from her eye sockets, and soon they pour from her nostrils and her nose and her ears, and from underneath her fingernails, as these small, tiny red lights start to collate on the table in front of you, forming this orb, this strange red ball made out of smaller beads of light. As this light pours from her, you can see the flesh on Mia's face and arms and legs start to dry, to become brittle, and her face becomes corpse-like. In fact, by the end, where Mia sits is a dead body, long rotted. And this orb around you, this red orb made of these small lights, hovers 3 feet above the table. Pamel looks wide-eyed as you hear a voice in your head say, "This is my true form. Does this look like Brienne?"
I think Al would almost like quietly, like in awe, just be like, "No."
Okay.
Patrick will be like astute and a matter of fact, like, no, and he's like, you can actually see him tearing up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Soon the red lights slide back into Mia's body. And as the lights start to fill the corpse back up, the flesh is reinvigorated. The nose reforms. The lips become plump. And when the eyelids closed, when they open, you see Mia's hazel eyes once again. Mia speaks. "Before we continue, you must understand that most, if not the vast majority of you humans, could not understand and would be very afraid of me. I ask that what I say stays here. I've trusted you into your mind, one who is not an elf, and I know you typically keep your word, so I'm asking for a vow right now, or I'll deny everything."
I think she's talking to you.
Yeah, I know. Al hesitates for a moment and then says, "You have my vow."
Good. Mel's not going to say anything. She makes a gesture of her lips being sealed. And Mia looks over to Patrick.
Yeah, absolutely not. I would love your safety above all else.
Thank you, she says. "So, where should I begin?" she asks.
Let's, I guess, keep to non-personal questions, as much as I would love to know more about you. How did you come across, let's start with the Queen.
The Queen was actually just how I told you, really. The Queen was dethroned by Gyro, and they were looking for someone to take care of her. Them not knowing who I truly am, I volunteered because it fit two purposes. One, it was compassionate. It is not an exaggeration to say that no one in Greek Castle wanted her. No one did. So I decided to take her in. But secondly, it did allow me to, well, study isn't the right word. Experience humans. You see, I find it captivating that in this really strange world, I've heard that you human beings used to dominate this entire environment, this entire planet, and something happened and now you don't. But humanity is very, very curious to me, you see. And I thought that Deirdre, although she wasn't of sound mind, she sometimes told stories in her own way. And I found them interesting.
Oh.
I see.
Patrick would question, would you want to know more about the history of humanity or what they're doing now?
I'm more interested in experiences, she says. Although I find the history of humans interesting, I'm more interested in how they live, their culture, I guess you could say. I think that's the right word for it.
Yes. This is, I guess, I would have very similar questions to what, to your species as well, experiences and whatnot.
She says, I'm unable to help you with that, only because what I am, the proper pronunciation, your vocal cords cannot form, nor your mouths can create the correct phonetic shapes. It is unfortunately very impossible for you. Although, if you must, you could call me Grelfan. That's the closest thing I could even come close to saying with these chords, she says, and she points to her throat.
Grelfan. You can, I did not, I've already introduced myself. I'm sorry. I'm Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Al would say... oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was actually going to be like, oh, Al, did you want to ask anything?
Well, I'm curious. The connection to the man with blonde hair, yours or... And he kind of motions to the body.
Man with blonde hair, she says. What do you mean?
Sorry, I would say his name again. The husband, the leader of the rebellion.
Oh, she says. No, I don't know him. I don't know if this body knew of him either. I came across diaries. I've read them of the person who used to live in this ranch that I came across. I've read the diaries, and I found them very interesting.
I see. The spoon was here when you got here.
Everything was here. You took my spoon, she says, with the realization. I knew there was 4 of them, but I counted 3 when I did dishes.
We can replace it for you. Our apologies.
Wait, she says. Of course. That makes sense now. The young man. You lied to me. Well, that's okay, I guess, now that we're here.
We honestly thought that...
I know what you thought,
Yeah.
She says.
Al's like, sorry, I'm not used to...
I don't make a practice of reading individuals' minds. I only did it when your friend tried to probe into mine. I couldn't let her know who I was, so I just tried to encourage her along her way. You understand?
Yes. No, you acted in self-defense. There's no wrong in that.
I guess I should apologize again for behalf of our actions. We've been in a very similar situation to this, I think about twice now, 3 times.
You've been in a situation like this, she says.
We've met a lot of tricksters in our travel, as well as people masquerading as humans that have ill intent.
She says, I see. That explains a few things.
All I have is personal questions. I'm sure that there's other ones like safety and things like that.
Safety?
Yes. So, of course, you're probably taking care of the queen, as you said. As we said when we first was introduced, we are extremely. We have a feeling that the queen has been put into this mindset and position on purpose, probably.
She says, I don't know anything about that. Her mind, I've never gone into Deirdre's mind to poke around. I've soothed her a few times, and she pauses for a second and looks away. I made a bit of a mistake involving magic, but I have not probed. From my understanding, she is just an old woman.
I would not. So you have used magic? We sensed magic in the house.
Yes, she says. It's rather embarrassing, really. I've managed, in my own curiosities, to come across a few scrolls, and I have dabbled with magic. You have to understand, my kind doesn't really involve itself. In fact, we've never involved ourselves with magic, but it was a fleeting curiosity. In fact, it was one of those magical ley lines that made me aware of this place. So I thought, well, maybe it wouldn't hurt. One of the scrolls, I was told, was used to soothe an individual, to put them into a relaxing slumber. So the day before you arrived, Deirdre was very, very agitated. There was a nightmare that she had, and I decided, instead of trying to go into her mind, since that would probably be a violation, I would cast a spell on her instead. She fell asleep, but very comatose. I was concerned. She acted as if she were dead. I tried to probe inside her mind, and there was nothing. I was terrified. I thought I killed her because I didn't understand this magic scroll properly. I read the words like it said I was supposed to, and there she was. She lied dead. I was very relieved that hours upon hours later she did awoke. And since then I've never cast a single thing.